Cheating while we're engaged? I'll exploit your phobias. A while back, I was engaged to a guy who seemed like a good choice. Attractive, funny, good job, owned a home. I learned he had a bit of a downside, though. He was a cheating slimeball mother ducker. Not just a one-time one-night stand with after too much to drink, which I would have still been angry about but could have probably gotten over. But repeatedly with more than one woman. I picked up on a few cues, but eventually had things confirmed beyond a shadow of a doubt. I was venting to my brother about this, and told him about how I planned to move out while the arsebutt was out on a week-long business trip. He volunteered to help me before I asked, and then got this amazing devious grin on his face. "We can also leave a memento for him," he said. When I asked what he meant, he said Pennywise and his friends. You see, the Dick Dipper was scared of clowns. Not just a little uncomfortable, but ducking terrified of them. Even as a grown man, a clown on a TV show, webcomic, or book would freak him out and he'd have to change the channel or click away. My brother owns a print shop and is protective of his little sister. So in the couple of weeks leading up to our Sputt's trip, he printed off a dozen pictures of clowns in various sizes, ranging from really small wallet-sized ones to big poster-sized prints. We framed most of the stuff in some super cheap plastic frames. Others we laminated. We managed to move all of my stuff out pretty quickly, which gave us a lot of time to get things set up for my ex. We took down every single framed picture and put up framed clown pictures. The clowns ranged from average clown to nightmare fuel hell spawn. Pictures on the walls, art prints, photographs in frames on tables. You name it, it was replaced with a clown picture. Where we became really devious was taking the laminated ones and placing them in things like the silverware drawer, the underside of the toilet lid. So when he went to take a piss, he'd be greeted with this when he lifted the seat, in the fridge and freezer, on the back of cleaning bottles, in his underwear drawer, and a bunch of other places. We even made sure to put some in places that he wouldn't go into for a while so he'd get a scare months later. He had one of those attic accesses that you have to pull down on and a ladder descends. We put a big laminated clown face on there so when the ladder flipped open for him to climb, he'd get a clown face. While we were setting this up, I went a step further and changed the wallpaper on his desktop computer to a clown. I also took about 10 of his favorite movies that he had on DVD and replaced them with some burned DVDs that had clown footage. They auto-played, and we'd printed up labels that looked like the original DVD artwork. We put all of his original artwork and DVDs in the basement, off the ground and protected from damage, but surrounded by giant clown posters of Pennywise and the like, and a motion sensor that, when triggered, would play a creepy clown laugh. I left a note on the kitchen table that said I know about names. Duck you. I'm out. After a few days of hard work of moving me out and moving a few clown cars worth of terror in, my brother, his wife and I celebrated by grilling some steaks and having a few beers. These were paid for by the engagement ring I sold. Once the dumbass returned, I got a text message or two that was along the lines of "you witch." It must have taken him days to take care of the photos out in the open alone. There was never any further action or legal repercussion for what we'd done. After all, what grown man would want to say that his ex-fiancée scared him with clown pictures? Now to the comments. Well, I guess that's what you get for clowning around on your girl. Good work. Whenever I see or hear a pun like this, I can't help but go, I do the same but just kinda in my head. Internal eye, if you will. There's an error with your story. Several clown cars worth should be a clown car worth because you can fit so many dang clowns in one of those things. I once saw a clown car get out of a clown car. Ducking recursive clowns. Got any pics of the house? Nope, because this is a made-up story. It was the DVDs that put it over the top. R/writing prompts is that way. Hung up some pictures equals OMG so pro/r/petty revenge is also that way. Nah, this is not pro, this is lazy. Pictures? That's all? Missed opportunities? Not replace the DVDs, but reburn them instead and include some nasty and loud-ass clown jump scares somewhere in the movies, in the most unexpected moments. Autoplay evil carnival music with devious clown laugh when he walks in and sees all the clowns, and hide the source. Dress up a mannequin in the scariest clown costume and hide it somewhere unexpected. Hire an actual clown to show up at his door unexpectedly and deliver a clown-related package. That last one is brilliant. What a realistic tale, believed by many intelligent Redditors. /r/nothing ever happens. Yeah, this one is honestly believable. It's not one of those I plotted for months and ruined his life posts. It's putting clown pictures in a house. /r/that happened. And a motion sensor that, when triggered, would play a creepy clown laugh. Bullshit. Right, you stayed with a guy who you knew was cheating on you for multiple weeks to put some clown pictures up. Believable. How easy do you think it is, to just go out and find a new place to live? In the story, she mentioned planning it all out in advance, including planning to move out when the guy was away. Yeah, this definitely happened. These were paid for by the engagement ring I sold. Legally, you sold his property. Legally, you are only borrowing the engagement ring. Emotionally, let the cheater suffer. It actually depends on the state. In some places it is a gift, in some it's a conditional gift, in some places it depends on who did the breaking up. Overview here. I've read a lot of legal speculation in this thread. This is the first comment that actually has something right without qualification. Only thing you should have done more was to hire at least 10 clowns for a little kid's birthday party. There was never any further action or legal repercussion for what we'd done. After all, what grown man would want to say that his ex-fiancée scared him with clown pictures? I would hesitate about replicating that experiment. It might end people in jail. That said, I cannot wrap my head around coulrophobia. It seems to be one of the more widespread phobias, so it must be relatable to a whole lot of people. But to me it's just completely beyond comprehension. My brother, his wife and I celebrated by grilling some steaks and having a few beers. These were paid for by the engagement ring I sold. Hee. I like that one. What would the legal action be about? She didn't damage his property or hurt him. Mental anguish? I'll play devil's advocate here. He could sue as a result of the deliberate emotional trauma inflicted by the defendant, and request that the court award him judgment for his psychologist's fees, as well as the time he missed from work stemming from the panic attacks he suffers. A good lawyer might be able to get a settlement out of it, but it's far from certain that the plaintiff would win if he took it to trial. I'm sure they could find a mental health professional to testify that severe fear of clowns is real. Plaintiff could argue. 1. Defendant was aware of plaintiff's crippling fear of clowns. 2. Defendant damaged and destroyed plaintiff's property. 3. Defendant maliciously created traps for plaintiff to find, knowing that plaintiff would suffer greatly at their discovery. 4. Defendant intended to cause psychological harm to plaintiff. 5. Defendant exploited plaintiff's trust and violated the sanctity of plaintiff's home when plaintiff was out of town. 6. Plaintiff requires extensive psychological treatment as a result of the repeated and ongoing trauma of finding clowns in his personal belongings. 7. Defendant is responsible for paying for psychological treatment required as a result of defendant's deliberate and malicious attacks. 8. Plaintiff has missed work as a result of defendant's deliberate and malicious attacks. 9. Defendant is responsible for reimbursing plaintiff's lost wages stemming from defendant's deliberate and malicious attacks. 10. Defendant deliberately placed a clown inside plaintiff's toilet with the intention of causing psychological harm. Plaintiff was terrified upon discovery, and now voids his bowels uncontrollably upon being exposed to clowns, resulting in permanent loss to quality of life. 11. Plaintiff's psychologist prescribed anti-anxiety medication to plaintiff stemming from the ongoing clown traps that plaintiff finds in his personal belongings. 12. Defendant is responsible for reimbursing plaintiff's cost of medication. 13. Plaintiff's medication causes loss of sexual desire, and plaintiff can no longer maintain an erection, resulting in permanent loss to quality of life. Curious? But how'd you find out he was cheating? She didn't. Because none of this happened. Honest question, why should I care? It's not like I'll ever meet any of the people supposedly affected by this in person, or like it will make any difference in my life. It's either real, or it's a fun little made-up story. Either way it's interesting to read.